Good evening, folks. This is Deb Della Piana, and this is your short take. We're going to spend the next 10 minutes talking about the attack on Paul Pelosi again. Since this whole thing started, I have seen absolutely nothing on social media but disgusting, rude, childish, infantile conduct from people who are both legislators and family members of Donald Trump. Some of the crudest and rudest stuff I have ever heard. Instead of, talking about how this shit needs to stop, they're actually mocking what happened to an 82-year-old man. One of the rumors that they started to spread was that the assailant was also in his underwear. As we know, Paul Pelosi was, because he was fucking sleeping in bed when this happened, okay? And people do sleep in their underwear. This is not an uncommon thing, okay? Some people don't even wear underwear to bed. So the rumor was out there. So then, of course, the right wing, just so they can get in some LGBT slurs as well, goes into how this was a sexual thing and he needs to choose his partners better. So let's talk about, I'm going to work from notes. I'm not showing you articles tonight, okay? I'm going to work from notes here. The district attorney said that both Nancy Pelosi's house and she herself were targets of David DePape, who is apparently homeless. He is a Canadian citizen who has been here long past his visa, but he broke into the house looking for Nancy Pelosi. Where's Nancy? He was heard to say. And these are the same questions that arose during the break-in at the Capitol. He had zip ties in his backpack. He had duct tape in his backpack. And he went on to tell the police that he intended to tie her up and break her kneecaps. And the reason he was going to break her kneecaps, this is exactly what he said. Quote, by breaking Nancy's kneecap, she would then have to be wheeled into Congress, which would show other members of Congress there were consequences to actions. End quote. There was no sexual tryst between David DePape and Paul Pelosi. This was a targeted political attack based on the fact that Nancy Pelosi has been vilified for years by the right, since Obama, when the Republican Party sought to make her the face of Obamacare. Just recently, we had the illustrious GOP leader make the statement that he was looking forward to taking the gavel from her after the midterms, and it would be hard not to hit her with it. Marjorie Taylor Greene has spent months talking about how Nancy Pelosi should be executed for treason because of the influx of immigrants at the border. Marjorie Taylor Greene expressed dismay today that people weren't buying into the ridiculous theory that Paul Pelosi was having a thing with this guy. And finally, let's talk about the right versus the left. I'm tired of having to say, but remember, it's both sides, because Steve Scalise was shot in 2018 and Justice Kavanaugh was threatened after the anti-abortion ruling. These things are true. These things are true. These things happened, however, on the other side because of the actions of the people they targeted, not because the Democrats spend their days and their nights on social media and talking to the news media about how they want to harm their political opponents. I haven't heard one fucking Democrat state that. You'd have to go all the way back to Maxine Waters at the beginning of Donald Trump's term to hear any of that. And by the way, she was roundly criticized by the Democratic Party, taken down, and has never done that again. Okay? The Republicans, they don't do any of that. They don't push back on any of their own legislators. They actually feed it. Donald Trump said the attack on Pelosi was horrendous, then proceeded to spread the same fucking conspiracy theories that are being spread by morons like Matt Walsh and Matt Couch, who say we will never know what happened in the house. Yeah, we do know what happened in the house. We actually do, because the perpetrator told the police what was going on in the house. Okay? The GOP is toxic. They do not push back on anybody. Lauren Boebert has been fixated on Nancy Pelosi for so long, it's embarrassing. She embarrassed herself in her debate because I don't think she can even remember the name of the person she's actually running against in Colorado. She spent all of her time talking about Nancy Pelosi. Carrie Lake, the loon that is running for the governorship in Arizona, has spent time mocking the attack on Paul Pelosi. So let's talk about what this guy's being charged with. David DePape, 42 years old, carrying zip ties and tape, broke into his house. He is going to be charged federally. He's going to be charged federally with, hold on, I want to get the actual terminology, okay? Influencing, impeding, or retaliating against a federal official by threatening or injuring a family member. He also faces one count of attempted kidnapping of a United States official on account of the performance of official duties. He is also going to be charged at a state level with attempted murder, elder abuse, and burglary. People, for the news media to always have to put in that little, paragraph about Steve Scalise and Brett Kavanaugh, let's talk about that. To say that this is happening on both sides is disingenuous bullshit by the news media, and by news media that I actually respect and read and will continue to read, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to call them out. There is no equivalence for any of this on the Democratic Party side. None whatsoever. None. No equivalent whatsoever on the Democratic Party side. They are not even out there today dumping on the GOP and mocking them for what they said. Donald Trump Jr., another lowlife from the scum family, posted a picture today of his Halloween costume. He's got the Paul Pelosi Halloween costume, a pair of briefs with a hammer on top of it. And by the way, the person who broke into the house bought that hammer with the intention of using it. He fractured Paul Pelosi's skull, requiring life-threatening surgery. Get a clue, people, okay? The GOP is toxic. If you think this is all just going to magically disappear, you're wrong. It's going to get worse when they're in power, okay? They're not even in power really right now. Just wait until they are. You have a choice. I'm going to continue to say this until my fucking head explodes. You are either going to do the right thing here and eliminate these toxic shitbags from our political landscape so we can actually have a functioning government, or you're going to sit back on your haunches and watch this country move on to full frontal fascism. Because if you're thinking you're going to fix this in 2024, you're wrong. And if you think this is going on both sides of the aisle, you're blind. I'll talk to you all later.